Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a video from the YouTube channel American Fire with Ace. It lays out this pretty elaborate theory about a massive political operation that it claims is about to kick off, one designed to expose what it calls deep-seated corruption in Washington, D.C.
All right, let's just dive right in with the core prediction from the source material. This quote from one of the guests on the video really sets the stage. It's predicting a huge announcement and gives it this very dramatic, very memorable code name.
So how does the video build its case for such a wild prediction? Well, it starts by painting a picture of chaos and fear in D.C., suggesting there's a huge storm brewing just beneath the surface.
Now, the video argues that this isn't just random turmoil. It's connecting events, things like resignations and ethics complaints, and presenting them not as a series of coincidences, but as very calculated moves in a coordinated plan that's about to hit its final stage.
Okay, so next up, the source starts to build its case by focusing on what it calls the opening salvos, basically a series of very targeted accusations against some key political figures.
What's really interesting here is how the source presents these two cases side by side to suggest a pattern. On one side, you have the accusations against Representative Swalwell, and on the other, it points to Senator Ruben Gallego, framing both of these situations as part of a building wave of political pressure. It's all about creating this sense of a coordinated attack.
According to the source, these events are just what we see on the surface. They're supposedly the public face of a much larger strategy, and the video gives this master plan a name: Hypersonic Clarity.
So what in the world is hypersonic clarity? Well, the video defines it as a flood of information. We're not talking about a slow, methodical legal process here. The idea is a massive and sudden release of declassified documents, all meant to bring these alleged secrets out into the open for every single person to see.
This here shows the supposed mechanics of the whole operation. The source lays out this four-step process. It starts with declassification, which leads to public transparency. But the really crucial part here is step 3, letting prosecutors use this information out in the open, which the source claims will allow justice to move at the speed of lightning. From there, the video really broadens its theory. It doesn't treat hypersonic clarity like it's happening in a vacuum. Instead, it weaves it into other major political controversies to suggest it's all part of a single, interconnected web of corruption.
You know, a key piece of this expanding web involves the Jeffrey Epstein case. The source makes a point to highlight this specific statement from Donald Trump, where he claims that some accusers weren't willing to testify under oath. This is presented as a really significant and, frankly, suspicious detail.
Right after that statement from Trump, the narrator turns and asks the audience this very direct question. It's a classic narrative technique, right? It's used here to cast doubt and imply that there must be some hidden reason for this supposed refusal to testify.
And to really reinforce this idea of a huge, connected network, the source points to recent social events. It highlights Huma Abedin being seen with friends of Ghislaine Maxwell and Rachel Chandler, and presents this as proof of ongoing ties between all these different circles.
So how does the source claim this whole sprawling network is going to be taken down? Well, it proposes a very specific prosecutorial strategy, and it compares it to taking down a mob boss.
Yeah, to make this legal strategy super easy to understand, the narrator uses a really powerful analogy. The video suggests that prosecutors are going to treat the alleged deep state not as a political group, but as an organized crime syndicate.
This quote gets right to the heart of that analogy. The source is arguing that just like law enforcement needed an insider, Sammy the Bull Guavano, to turn state's witness against mob boss John Gotti, a similar tactic is needed here to bring down the whole leadership structure.
So the end goal, the way the video lays it out, is to convince a high-ranking official to cooperate. The whole strategy is to get an insider to testify against the very system they were once a part of, probably in exchange for some kind of plea deal.
And the source doesn't present this flipping strategy as just some future possibility. No, they talk about it like it's already happening behind the scenes. The narrator sounds completely confident that key figures are already cooperating, basically out of fear of going to prison.
And finally, the source puts a ticking clock on this entire story, claiming the whole plan will fully play out within the next 2 years and 9 months. So we've just broken down a really comprehensive theory from this source video, a story full of secret operations and a promised political reckoning, and it leaves us with one final question to think about. No matter what you think about its validity, how do compelling stories just like this one end up shaping our modern political landscape?